Well, hello my fellow adventurers, welcome back to day 2 of my 46 climbs charity hike. This is day 2 here at East Fork State Park doing the perimeter trail. I didn't film packing up. One, it was actually raining quite a bit. You see I have some of my rain gear on. Looking at probably a little bit of rain this morning as we hike out. It's about 10:30, so a little bit later than what I wanted. The reason I did that was because it did rain about 8 o'clock this morning. I was hoping everything would dry off. However, it's just continued to rain. So I finally said, time to get up. Let's get moving. We're heading towards Site 4 now. It's about a 7-mile hike. Hoping to do it by, 4:30, 5 o'clock. That way I have some time if I decide I want to get some wood. And also enough time where we can get the tent set up and it dry off. I also didn't film much this morning. The gentleman from last night, he's actually staying at that site tonight. He's still there. And another gentleman came in. He's from Cincinnati. He came in, he's going to do an overnighter. And if you can tell, parked his car right there. Carried his stuff up, said he's going to go park over here. So they're doing it the easy way. Built a small fire. Chit-chatted with the gentleman from New York last night for a little bit. Turned in about 11 o'clock and was asleep by midnight. I knew I was probably going to be up a little bit later this morning. I wasn't planning on it being that, 9:30, 10 o'clock, but not too bad. Had about a 40-minute pack up. But now we're heading on. We're going back down this little road walk and then we'll get back on the trail. Heading north. We've got about a mile to our next water supply. We'll grab a little bit of water, make sure we're good to go on that. Should be an exciting day. A little bit of rain, but it should clear off this afternoon. Probably get a little sunny. I think highs are only supposed to top out at about 67, so very comfortable weather to hike in. I do want the rain to stop because I want to ditch this rain jacket. I get hot in a rain jacket. Even with this one having a little bit more ventilation, I just get hot in it. If it was 40 degrees, it wouldn't bother me, but right now, it's a little warm, and it's actually slightly humid. So yeah, right now the trail is pretty flat. It is rocky, however. I mean, this is actually a road, I believe. There's an RC park type idea, basically where they fly RC airplanes. And I think this is the road that goes up to it because we're going to pass that here in just a moment. But after that, we should get back into the woods shortly thereafter, heading towards what would be the largest water crossing I have. However, with the rain here recently, like a couple days ago, they had about 2 hours of sustained rain and then a little bit of rain this morning. We'll see what that river looks like. I think I have a way to bypass it. And if I do, I'd definitely like to share that, because there's quite a few times I see guys come out to this trail, they'll hit that river and turn around and go home, because it is a substantial crossing, and especially like in the spring, I've seen people try to go across it and get, to their neck in water, and we're talking like guys that are 6 feet tall, so that would be over my head. This is kind of cool, a little bit of flat walking to start the day, downhill and then flat. So I can break my legs in pretty good. Still raining a little bit, just enough to keep the rain gear on. I do have a rain kilt if it would come in harder to put around my waist to cover my pants and such, my shorts. But right now, it's not that heavy, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it because I don't want to get too wet down there because that can cause chafing and such. And we don't want that on the trip. But heading on. Should be a pretty good day. I don't mind a little bit of rain, especially knowing that it's supposed to clear off and get kind of sunny later tonight. I do have to say one thing. Been out in this field for a while walking. If it was sunny, and warmer, this would have kind of stunk, guys. But however, with it being cloudy and a little drizzly and cooler, I think the temps are in the mid-50s right now. This has actually been quite nice. Just past the RC field, just walking through this meadow here. Got a little path you can see, and if you notice, let's see if I can see some of it, like in spots. A lot of that is the clay I was mentioning, that this area it has, you know, that's why it stays a little bit muddier, because once the rain falls, the ground's not absorbing most of the rain, it just has to evaporate off. So yeah, but pretty little meadow. Easy walking so far this morning. Well, we came out of that field, had a slight incline. It was like maybe 20 feet. Couldn't kind of straight up a hill. Nothing really major except it was rocks, all rocks. And now we've been basically declining, like going a descension ever since then. Some of it pretty steep and rocky, but now it's kind of more grass laid, very tight and very wet because it is raining. So my feet are already wet, which I knew it was going to happen with it being raining today, so no big deal. Oh, but we should be coming up on the river very shortly. Like I said, I think that's about where I'm going to be able to get some water. And maybe stop and grab a decent bite of breakfast. I did, actually may even be a lunch. I haven't decided yet. Depending on what time we get there. May just skip the breakfast or have it a little bit later today. Either way, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Yeah, my feet are wet. Good and wet now, because yes, the trail is very enclosed, and where it's raining, the vegetation is getting my feet good and wet. Not a major problem there. You know, these shoes and socks will dry off really well. I even plan on switching hiking socks tomorrow. Regardless, I want a fresh pair for that 14 miles tomorrow. So, not a problem there. The good thing is, with my feet, I did mention possibly having some of those impacted toenails, where the toenails were kind of crimped up against the edge of the shoe. Not had that issue today so far, and you know, I'm coming up on probably a little over a mile and a half since the camp. Yeah, definitely a little over a mile. So that's a good sign that I took care of that issue last night when I trimmed my nails. So hopefully that won't be a problem the whole trip now. Yeah, I'm hoping. Ooh. This is a very tight trail. I'm hoping to kind of get out of this tight trail and get a little bit more open later on, because it's easier when it's open. I mean, it's not that big a deal doing it like this. It's just where it's wet now. Because if it stays like this the whole day, even if the rain stops, the trail's going to be wet most of the day. So, because it'll take a while to dry off, because, you know, one, no sun right now. And two, it's not like, you know, it's going to get into the 80s today or something where it would dry it off a little bit faster. But yes, feet are wet. Pants are starting to get wet because the vegetation is a little bit taller too. But it's not really super raining right now, so I guess we'll see how things go. It's just a slight sprinkle. I don't really want to drop pack right through here if I don't have to. So I'm kind of hoping I can get over to the water source, and you know, I'll drop pack then because I do have to filter some water, and hopefully by that point in time the rain will have stopped and I can kind of kick this rain jacket off. All right, well, I got done with my breakfast slash lunch. It's about 12:15. So I did sit there for a few extra minutes. Found out through donations, I've actually hit my goal of $100 for the charity this year. First time I've ever done that. I'm kind of excited. Thank you to the anonymous donor and Alex. Alex donated some money and got me up to the $100. So if you guys would like to donate as well, make sure you hit that link up down below for 46 climbs. All going to the National Foundation for Suicide Prevention, guys. Anyway, I did get done with lunch. I took about 45 minutes, like I said. Kind of leisurely enjoyed that right there beside the river. And what you do at mile marker 29, you can either take a left and go down across the river, or hopefully this pans out. I turned right. This is the Tailwater Trail. It does add about a mile to the actual hike, but there was no way I was going to be able to ford that river. I was watching horses go across it, and you know, they were up above their shoulders for the horses, so that would have been kind of deep for me to try to get across. I just kind of skipped that idea. We're going to do this trail. If it pans out, I should go south a little ways, bypass the dam, and go back up and meet the perimeter trail here in about a mile and a half. So should be kind of cool. If it works, I'll let you know. That way people who do come out to East Fork, if that water's too deep to ford, you can do this. Trying to be very quiet, guys. I actually seen a couple of deer in the underbrush. I'm not wanting to spook them too much. So I'm kind of hoping maybe I can get them on camera here. They headed off that direction, so I may have already spooked them off, but where there's one or two, there was normally more. I wasn't even making much sound. Just clicking of my trekking poles. It's all new growth forest. I don't know if they've come in and logged it, or if there was a fire. But all this is very, very young trees. Still a pretty area though. Once all this comes in, this is all pine. This whole area will be a completely different ecosystem than what I've been hiking in. It's really nice. Very, very quiet too. If you can tell, I mean, there's not even hardly any bugs, much less any other sounds. Kind of glad I come this way, especially if it works out where I do get past the river there. This has been one of my favorite sections of trail so far. So, been following this tailwater trail for a while. Think it's going to swing around and we're getting ready to come up on the dam, so that's going to be kind of neat. I'm hoping that I can either bypass it or go across it or something. That's what it shows on all trails, and from what I understand, there's a couple of maps that actually do show that as well. Then again, the actual official East Fork map doesn't show it. That's probably why people don't take it and don't know it's here. But I figure I'm gonna give it a shot, because there's no way I can ford that river. It's just too deep right now. I don't know why they take the perimeter trail across that. I mean, they use it for horses, and I think that's the main thing they want to do. But the perimeter trail, you know, if you're wanting to backpack it, there's no way you're going to be able to get across that most times of the year. I mean, maybe like in the dead of winter when there's been no rain for a while, and you know, one of the drier winters when there's no snow, spiderweb, there might be a chance that you could ford it. I mean, I've seen it, pictures of it where it's really, really low. It's not right now, you know, and you figure, I mean, we're coming up on almost a month where we've had very little rain here in Ohio. You know, there for a while, yeah, it was raining quite often, but it's been almost a month. You know, we've had a day or two here and there where you'll get a couple hours of rain, and that's about it. So that's about as low as it's going to get this time of year. I mean, maybe this time next month it'll be a little bit lower, but even then, I don't see being able to get across it. Oh, got a big tree across the trail here. This trail definitely is not used as much, and it's not maintained. That one section up there on the ridge going through that new growth forest was pretty nice. It was pretty, and the sun's starting to come out, so it's definitely going to start drying stuff out. It's also going to get warmer. Oh, this isn't too bad. You got to cross the trail, but I can go up here on the bank where other people have gone. You can tell they've stepped up there and gone across it. But this is like the biggest blowdown I've seen. There's a few of them down through here. So yeah, this section of trail is not maintained as much, but it's still, if it affords me the chance to bypass that river, it's worth coming through here and just kind of stepping over some of these logs. Looks like I got an offshoot and it continues that way. Try to figure out which way to go. I see the trail there. I think it comes down and just circles around. I don't even have to go across that growth there and those down logs. It's always smart to kind of scan ahead when you see some obstacles and make sure you know where you're going. That way you don't have to go across them and like, oh, I gotta go back. That kind of looks like it could be the trail from a distance, but I had stopped and like I said, was looking. Looks like the trail goes out this way. And according to my watch, yes. So that's kind of cool. I hear water flowing. So I guess it really depends on what we face going forward. What I end up doing. I'm hoping to do the whole perimeter trail. This is the whole thing that it hinged on, was whether or not, one, if I could cross the river, which we've already determined I couldn't, or two, leaf come down right in my face. Two, I could actually take this trail and bypass that. I mean, looking at the map, looking at the topo, I should be able to do it. There should be a spillway dam over here that I should be able to go south of and get to the other side. I guess let's see what happens, guys. So we spilled out of the woods and came up on basically this little park. Right here is the dam I was talking about. Should be able to go right across over to there, and the trail should continue over there. I did partake and actually use the restroom since, yeah, it's here. Just makes life a lot easier. But I'm gonna continue on and see if I can figure out where this trail goes. I believe it's right over there. Got a number of people fishing today. It's kind of cool. So yeah, guys, there's not really an established trail through here. Wasn't too bad up until a little bit ago. There was a fence that you could follow, and that afforded quite a bit of easement through the mess. Now we're in this taller weeds here. I thought about turning back and saying, we're good, but I looked at it. I'm only a 1/10 of a mile where I can get back on the trail. So I'm kind of hoping I can make my way. If you notice, I don't know if it's game or other people, there have been something through here pushing down some of it. And I've just kind of followed that. As long as I've got the river to my left, I'm not going to get lost, because this will actually come up and bend back around to the perimeter trail. So I think I'm actually just following a game trail for the most part right through here. This is really high though. I did spray my clothes down with permethrin before this trip, but I will definitely be looking for ticks. This is not something I would suggest doing. I mean, it's just, I'm doing it because I'm hoping to finish the perimeter trail. It's not like I haven't bushwhacked before in my life. And that's literally what I'm doing here. Bouncing off trees and just walking through this high grass, basically these weeds. But slowly making my way. I'm getting some pretty views of the river too, so it's kind of neat. Stuff that you wouldn't see on the trail. But if everything works out, I should be able to get back over here to the perimeter trail on the opposite side of the river and continue up towards Site 4. If it doesn't get any worse than this, I should be okay. Like I said, definitely not an established trail, so maybe not the best thing to do. And of course, now granted, in the winter, this would not be so bad. It's just where everything's still kind of overgrown right now. Late fall, winter, early spring, before the growth come in, you should be okay. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there have been people through here, because I keep coming across where you can see a path and then it kind of dwindles off, and it could be that it gets overgrown before I've had a chance to come in here. If I could follow that all the way up, that would be nice, because this is no worse than just a little bit of an overgrown trail right through here. Got a little scratch on my knee, I feel it. Have to clean that up later on. I hit a stick in the undergrowth here. That happens though. That happens on regular trail, so. But slowly making my way. All right, guys. So I made it through that little area. Yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend that for you. I kind of made a determination. I turned and went up the hill and kind of got more close to the ridge. Still a little overgrown, but it wasn't all that tall grass, and that was a lot easier to get through. Then I come to a little spillway area, and now I'm back down next to the river on the opposite side. If you could ford that river, man, it would be great, because I mean, it would have saved me like an hour and a half even, because that was a little rough going. And this isn't great. I'm walking beside the river now. The cross point is just right up there. I believe I can actually see it. So we'll be back on the perimeter trail finally at that point in time. Just gotta watch my footing on these rocks. But once we're able to get back on the perimeter trail, that'll be really awesome, because then we can start making some good time and head north and get over to our campsite here in a little while. Pretty area. It's not as deep right through here. I don't know, that's pretty deep right there. I mean, that would probably be almost waist deep right through there, like mid thigh. I mean, I guess I could have walked all the way down through here. I could have probably got across that. My feet would have got wet, but I probably could have got across that, even with that flowing water, as long as I was careful. Well, guys, got through with that. About 2 hours ago, we were sitting right over there. It wasn't so much the distance that it added, it was the time. Whew. And yeah, I came right down the bank there on all those rocks. It took a few minutes. But we are now rejoined with the perimeter trail and guaranteed that we can do it. That was fun. It will definitely make for a more very memorable trip, but I do not recommend doing it. There is a road walk if I ever come back and do this trail, which I don't know if I will, but if I ever decide to, there is a road walk that I think you can take that may shorten some of this. I mean, there's a place to park right here, so it may join up right there. I don't know what the distance would be on that, but did complete that area. And like I said, now I'm heading towards site 4. A little tired. The walk beside the river there on those rocks, that kind of wore me out a little bit. This is kind of interesting right through here. Got some stone pillars. Would assume there was a gate here or something maybe at one time. Of course, people have come in and graffitied it, but human nature, why not? But yes, now we have rejoined the perimeter trail, and it should be a lot easier going than what I've been doing for the last 2 hours. I don't mind a good bushwhack, but that was a little bit more than what I was bargaining for. But it's okay, I did it, and it was kind of fun. Got to check for ticks. I did actually see, as I was going through that undergrowth, 3 different snakes too. None of them poisonous. They were all like little black snakes and garter snakes and such. But like I saw one go across in front of me in one of the more open sections of that game trail. But the other 2 I just kind of seen as they were crossing in front of me as I spread open the undergrowth so I could see, because I was doing that quite heavily to make sure, of course, I didn't see any snakes. Well, interesting development. So if you would want to do the path I took, yeah, you got to go through all that undergrowth. I mean, if you do it in the fall, that wouldn't even be there. It wouldn't be an issue. Do not go down this. See over here, this is a spillway. Once you come out of those woods, you pour into this. I went down and hiked along the river. You do not have to do that. I actually come out of the woods right there. I could have walked over, and there's actually a little trail right here. And I could have come up here, avoid all that river walk, which, I mean, that took probably almost an hour. Avoided all that and this little incline. Could have come up right here and met the trail. If I'd known, if I ever do it again in the future, that's what I'll do. But yeah, literally spill out into this spillway and just come across and find this little trail right here. Would have saved me so much time and a lot of effort. But it is what it is. Still heading on. I'm having a great day. Not complaining. It's just knowledge I'm passing on to you guys. Yeah, this is the most substantial incline I've got. I'm about halfway through it. Got to get to the top of this ridge, and then I mean, there's going to be plenty of ups and downs and such, but nothing like this one. This is by far the worst one that I had. It's coming from the river up to the top of this ridge all at once. So guys, we got that incline over with. It's been kind of flat on a wide path now with gravel. Don't really like the gravel. We discussed that when I was at Big South Fork. But I mean, for the day, it's par for the course. I mean, I've had quite a bit of different terrain. I did pass a parking lot about 1/10 of a mile back there. I was hoping there would be water fountain at it. Nothing going. Getting a little bit low on water. I'm okay. I think I only have maybe 3¼ miles to site. give or take. So shouldn't be too bad. Even if I run out of water, I'm pretty cameled up. I've had over 2 liters already today. So it's not like I'm gonna die of thirst or anything, but yeah, I actually like to sit down and eat lunch, but we're starting to press on. It's almost 3 o'clock, so may not even get to lunch today. May just end up doing a hefty dinner tonight. It happens sometimes on trail, but I am moving right along, feeling pretty good now that that incline's over with. Handled that incline fairly easily too. Wasn't like I was struggling with it too much. So that's really awesome. Feel like I got my trail legs back. I struggled a little bit the last trip at Germantown, you know, just because of the heat, I think, more than anything. But being here, I've been able to get them stretched out really good and feeling all right. Not having any knee pain, which is always a concern after that injury back in March. I felt a twinge yesterday and it kind of scared me because it was actually quite painful. Then it went away. So, and no swelling, and I stretched it a little bit last night, moved it around, everything's fine. I have noticed on my left heel, the Achilles tendon seems to be pulling just a little bit on the inclines, and I think that's just because I haven't been on trail much. It's not like painful, but I can feel a pull on it. I mean, I think if it pulled any further, it'd be painful, the type idea, but it's there. Just something I have to keep an eye on. You know, you gotta listen to your body while you're on trail. And some people, the first instinct, you know, when they feel a little pain, is grab a painkiller. Either Tylenol, naproxen, ibuprofen, something like that. Really, you shouldn't do that. I do it at night sometimes because it helps me rest. But when I'm actually on trail, I don't do that because it can mask pain of an injury. And you need to make sure that you're noticing those things because, you know, if you have an injury and it's kind of masked by painkillers, the next thing you know, you've done more damage than good. But this is a nice little stretch right through here too. Pretty flat, kind of open a little bit. Sun's come out, bright blue sky. Some of the white clouds, but that's about it. And honestly, that's what I should see the rest of the trip. I looked at AccuWeather when I was sitting there at lunch, breakfast, it was technically breakfast, at the river before I started this whole excursion that I've done today. And once the rain stopped then, the chance of rain actually went down to 0%. And that's going from now, today being Saturday, all the way through Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll be gone by then. I want to enjoy the weather and some good hiking, get over to Site 4. I'm gonna be kind of tired tonight. I'm probably gonna head to bed, guys. So the trail spilled me out onto a road walk here. It's not too long, maybe 3/4 of a mile. This looks like it actually goes up around the bend here, and there's a parking lot. And it actually says something, it's kind of blurry on the all trails, like maybe playground, posse ground, something like that. If there's a water fountain, we're gonna sit down for 20 minutes, guys, because I'm kind of ready to camel up on a little bit of water. I think we have right around 3 miles, give or take. The extra distance that I put on the trail with that detour, so this isn't going to be a 7-mile day. It's going to be an almost 8.5, which is fine. I mean, I'm not really worried about it. It was more the time it took to do that section that I added to it. That was what bothered me more than anything. It wasn't so much the distance. I mean, 8 miles in a day is not too bad. I mean, considering I'm doing, 13, 14 miles tomorrow, but it was the time. I really wish they would do a bypass where you could do this trail and not have to worry about that water. But I mean, it's been like that for years. I don't figure it's something they're ever going to do. They're more worried about that being a horse trail than a backpacking trail. And it's a shame considering who it's named for. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm still having fun. It's just, you know, this trail is not accessible for a lot of people. So we made it to mile marker 27. Whew. I looked at that parking lot last time. No go. There was like a cafe or something there, but they were closed. No water, and it's kind of where the horse camp's at. So I just kind of bypassed it and come on. Once I left that, it was flat for just a minute in the woods, and it got beastly. A lot of incline, no switchbacks. Designed for horses, of course. They figure I'm here. This is the Greenbrier Cemetery. Kind of over in here, I know there's quite a few old tombstones. Figure I'd glance real quick before I head on. It's about 3:30, so I've still got plenty of time. And this does give me a minute to catch my breath after some of that incline. Yeah, you can't even see these. This one says May 22nd, 1873. Oh, that was a child too, age 4. Oh no, he's 84, never mind. Misread it, guys. Yeah, a lot of older tombstones in here. You know, just part of history of the area. It's kind of neat. Since 1870. Try not to be disrespectful, but it's kind of neat. It's kind of like the cemetery there at Zaleski. You walk past it, there's a church and a cemetery. Yeah, that one's hard to read too. You probably have to get a rubbing to see some of these. But kind of neat right here beside the trail. The trail does go beside this road for a ways. So thankfully, I will be flat for a few minutes. Like I said, that last section, wow. I mean, especially the last incline that brought me up to mile marker 27. That was knees to my chin in spots and very rocky and loose dirt and gravel. Very slick. So, wasn't the easiest part of the trail to ever do. Ooh, I just stepped on a rock and almost fell, guys. Oh no, done the hardest part of the trail, now I'm going down. Be about my luck. Got a little path right through here, right beside the road. So we're gonna take that. Like I said, mile marker 27. Campsite 4 should be right around mile marker 25, according to my research. So about 2 miles or less, and we'll be at site. Should be there, I'm hoping 4:30, 5 o'clock, giving us plenty of time to get set up. My tent can sit up in the sun some and dry, so it's not damp when I get in it tonight. And I can stretch out, massage some muscles, and get something to eat. I am starving. Really hungry, guys. If I could have sat down before now, I probably would have pulled out some beef sticks, some trail mix, and just snacked, but it would have been enough to get me going and get some more calories. But here we are, making our way still, doing fairly decent. I'm not having too much problems as far as pain or anything. It's just I'm starting to run low on fuel. I can feel it. I need some fuel, need some calorie intake. All right, guys, made it to site 4. Got everything setting down for a minute. I am completely out of water. It's pretty dry back this way. There was a creek about 1/10 of a mile back that did have some water in it. It was somewhat flowing, but for the most part it was dried out. It's the only water I've seen since I left the river. So I'm gonna go back and filter, but I want to get that pack off. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put my tent up, set up kind of site real quick, and then I'll go get water real quick. I want to get the tent up so it has a chance to dry over the next few minutes. It's actually 5:20. It's a long day of hiking. that I'd actually planned on being in here by about 4 o'clock. I came through, the trail is over here and it continues out that way. This site is directly on the trail, which is kind of crazy. But I did come through and I went out this way about a half mile and come back to see if there was water out this way. There's nothing. But I'm gonna get tent up. That way it could start drying and then I'm gonna go get water. Well guys, I'm sitting down now finally. Tent is pretty much almost dried out. It literally, I mean, it was soaked when I got here, but this tent being the way it is and everything, it actually dried out in the space of time it took me to go get water and come back. It was pretty much dry by the time I come back. So I've kicked my shoes off, kind of letting the body unwind. I'm a little sore, but hey, I'm here guys. Site 4 is actually really nice. It's, you know, pretty nice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's even kind of open. I mean, not as open as the other one by far, but you know, got a little bit of sky out this direction, if you notice. So you can see the sky a little bit. The moon comes up. It should light up the forest pretty decent. I mean, it's got a canopy, but not like severe where you feel claustrophobic. So sitting here, I've already seen another 2 groups of horses go by. So they're still out riding. I figure that'll stop before long. It's 6:15 now, so got about 2 hours till dark. I think sunset is 7:59, so. But I'm eating a little snack right now. I'm gonna do dinner in about an hour. Should be ready to go to bed shortly thereafter. I'm pretty beat. But it's been fun. All right, guys, got site pretty much set up. I mean, everything's kind of ready. Just got to cook some dinner here in a little bit. It's almost 7 o'clock. Do want to comment. Kind of irritated because I thought about doing a fire tonight, but it was kind of iffy if I was going to because I'm kind of tired. Didn't really want to deal with wood. And this is all the wood I have right now, but the definition of what not to do when you're out in the woods, guys, that's ridiculous. Somebody actually brought a meal in because that's a drink carrier and two things. They had a nice little twisted tea. They had some sodas and stuff. I'm sure they came in and camped, but they brought that in and then just left the trash because they didn't want to carry it out. That is so frustrating, guys. I mean, there's absolutely no reason for that. You know, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was even going to do a fire tonight, but I don't even want to deal with having to clean that out, then do wood. So I'm skipping it. I figure it hits about 8:15, 8:30. I'll be heading into the tent and just stretch out. I mean, my back's kind of kinked up. My shoulder's a little sore. You know, I mean, it was a good day of hiking, but yeah, I'm kind of ready to kind of relax and rest. I've had fun today. Do not take that I'm complaining. I mean, it was just a rough day. But this is a very, very pretty area for a backpacking site. You know, it's really quiet, calm. You know, once again, you got your picnic table. You've got your benches, you know, where you could sit and really have a good fire. Like, I mean, I could see a whole group of people coming up in here and really enjoying it. The one drawback is the trail. Well, technically the trail goes right here, which, I mean, the site's right there. But I did have a group come in. Well, the 2 groups actually, and they went between the post and that way. But still, this site is right on the trail. That's the one drawback that I've seen so far. Did go ahead and get me a bottle of electrolytes. I've been down in that. That's kind of helped. Trying to keep this direction, that way I'm a little bit more in the sun for you guys. Because it's starting to get dark. The sun is still up, but there's a hill right here, so it's going to dip down below that hill, and there's clouds out that direction. So it's going to get darker a little bit quicker, but I'm not really worried about it. And I don't know if you can hear in the distance, I'm hearing construction work out this way. Like the backup light, the beep, beep, you know, as they back up. I've been hearing that for like an hour now. There's cars going up and down the road. So it's going to be kind of noisy up in here. I'm not that far from civilization. Really good day. I really enjoyed the hiking. It's really nice to get back out here and put my body through it and, you know, feel the heart pumping. I'll have to check. I think my heart rate I saw about 145, so that's really not too bad. So what's for dinner tonight, guys? So this is a Mountain House meal. dehydrated meal. And what it is, it's a biscuit and gravy meal. I condensed it down to have more room in my bag and my pack, just because you know, I felt like I didn't want to take up too much room, and you know, a lot of that packaging is air, so I'd be able to do it just like this. I put the instructions for it on here. It's 12 ounces of water. I'm gonna set it up and drop it in my cook pouch like I did last night with my homemade dehydrated meal. However, you know, it is a mountain house, so, and in fact I actually did that with the next 2 meals if I happen to be here for 2 nights. I'm shooting to go home on Monday, so I should only be here tomorrow night. It really depends on how I feel after doing that, you know, 14-mile hike tomorrow. It could be that I'm not able to actually do the next day, because the next day will be another, I think, 9.5 miles. So, but I kind of want to do it because I want to go home that day. I have stuff to get ready for vacation. But I'm gonna try this mountain house out. Yeah, like I said, it's the biscuit and gravy. I thought, why not? It's one I've never had. It takes 12 ounces of water, and it's 540 calories. I could definitely use some calorie intake today. I did sit down when I first got here, and I had a Spam block. I had like 3 beef sticks, ate some trail mix, and the dehydrated fruit. That helped. I've actually seen a number of people come through. Another couple of people come through right over here, straight out of the woods. And once again, someone carrying a shotgun. So that's twice now I've seen somebody carrying a shotgun. I don't know if something's in season, or if they're just out here shooting in the woods, or if they're carrying it for safety purposes. I'm like, if you're carrying a shotgun for safety purposes, what's in these woods that could scare me? Maybe it is the big feet. I don't know. I've got my sidearm, so it is what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and get this dinner going. I'll let you know what I think about it once it's done and it's cooked and I start eating on it, guys. Sun just went down. It's 8:05. Like I told you, the sun went down at 7:58 today. So it's starting to get a little dark in the woods. Got startled. I was putting my bear bag up a few minutes ago. Looked up and there was a guy coming down through here on a bike. That literally was less than 10 minutes ago. So people just out on the trails, there's a lot of noise. I can actually hear people with their fires over at the campground. So that's really kind of interesting, but also, am I going to be able to sleep tonight? So I guess we'll see. I'm going to crawl in the tent, do some stretching, move the body. I'm talking to the wife right now, which is nice. I've had cell signal the whole time, so that's been very enjoyable. But yeah, I do some stretching. I'm probably going to take an naproxen, at least one. I might take 2, depending on how I feel once I get in there and I'm kind of stretching out, laying down. Don't like taking that pain relief, but I do want to be able to rest really well tonight because I do have so many miles tomorrow. But really good. Oh yes, the biscuit and gravy, phenomenal. For a dehydrated meal, it was really good. I mean, yeah, granted, it's not homemade biscuit and gravy at the house like you would have, you know, on Sunday morning, but it was enjoyable, especially for being out here, you know, backpacking a dehydrated meal, something completely different than I've ever had. I really enjoyed it. I will let you know, if you're not a big fan of pepper gravy, like it has a lot of pepper in it, don't get this one because it does have a lot of pepper. I like it. I actually like a lot of pepper in my gravy, in my sausage gravy. But this one does have a lot, so if you're not into that, that might not be something you want to try. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head in here. Like I said, I'm going to call it for the night. I'm just going to be in the tent talking to the wife. May read a book a little bit later if she gets off the phone, or I might read while I'm talking to her. I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to call it a night, guys. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, the previous video, anything on the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you know when we do get a chance to put up new videos. Should have quite a few coming up off and on. Probably won't be weekly, but definitely something every month for sure. And if you do have any comments, questions, concerns, anything you want to talk about, make sure you hit up the comment section down below. We'll get back to you as fast as possible. We definitely appreciate our viewers and like to interact with anybody that has questions. And don't forget, guys, if you want to donate or at least check out the 46 Climbs, it's 46climbs.com, and my donation page will be in the description down below. Make sure you hit that up as well. I'm out here for that 46 Climbs in support of the National Foundation for Suicide Prevention, guys. Anyway, always remember to live your grand adventure to the fullest. I will definitely see you on the trail for a big day of miles tomorrow. Until then, guys, take care. Good night.